Unless you were in a city where they sold Gibson strings, Black Diamond was about all you could buy.
That's right. In Absaroka, Montana, a town of 600 people, you'd go to Irv Solsted's hardware store, and you just, if you had a string break, you never got a whole set. You just went in and got that string, and it was like 60 cents or something, and they were called Black Diamond strings. And what's his name?
Larry Cordell.
Larry Cordell made a song up about that, and it reminds me of my home. My first guitar was a loaner, an old block band my cousin let me keep. Back when I was learning how to play, like the boys in Tennessee. I'd sit up every night and pick it till my fingers turned green, and I learned how to play it now on a Black Diamond string. Daddy showed me 3 chords.
3.
Jimmy T taught me how to play. He showed me that G run I'm still using today. I thought it surely must be magic,
Surely.
the way he made them ring. But he said it ain't no secret, son. It's them Black Diamond strings. I don't know if they still make them. Back then they were the best. And the good times didn't cost much, well, 95 a set. Back before I met Phil, chased my make it big dream. All it took to make me happy was this old guitar and Black Diamonds.
Well, let me hear them Black strings. I've worn mine out. Wear yours out.
Now I've been to the mountaintop. I've had my share of troubles too. But if I could do it all again, well, I know just what I'd do. 'Cause if I could take just one trip, take a trip back in that time machine, to the day I learned to play the wildwood flop on Black Diamond string. I don't know if they still make them. Back then they were the best. And the good times didn't cost much. Hell, they were 95 cents. Back before I met Phil, chased my make it big dream. All it took to make me happy was this old guitar and Black Diamond string. Yes, back before I met Phil, chase my make it big dream. All it took to make me happy was this old guitar I'm playing in black diamond string. Yes,
Black diamond
the
strings.
sound of one hand clapping. It's just great.
Well, appreciate you guys, folks, being there. You didn't come here for our great musicianship. You came here for the great neighbor and ambiance, and we came here to hear some good music ourselves. So you guys are next. You're up next, right? We got a couple of guitars. Do you play guitar? Do you play guitar? Did you hear that?
No,
We need to get him a mic.
I'm old and deaf.
We need
you
to
know,
get him a
and-
mic here.
Huh?
Sorry? Oh, really? You know, I played pedal
man.
steel for 2 years, and I swear, I went back to the fiddle. I thought that was a hard instrument until I sat down with a pedal steel, and
God.
that was a challenge. Did you get pretty good at it? One lesson. That was enough, huh?
Well, the whole thing, you got to use your knees and your arms, and you got two guitars out there, and it's a mess. Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't get too good, or you'd have been out there on the road hitting highway and hanging out places that would have got you in trouble. So, or did you do that anyhow?
There you go.
This song is about that exactly. It's called Highway 40 Blues. These Highway 40 Blues, I walked holes in both my shoes. Counted the days since I'd been gone. Love to see the lights of home. Wasted time and money too. Squandered youth in search of truth. But in the end I had to lose. Lord above me paid my dues. Got these Highway 40 blues. The highway called when I was young. Told me lies of things to come. Fame and fortune lied ahead. That's what the billboard lights had said. Eyes are filled with bitter tears. Lord, I ain't been home in years. Money's gone, stick out my thumb. That's all I got. Highway 40 blues. You know I've rambled all around like a rolling stone from town to town. Met pretty girls, I'd have to say, but none of them could make me stay. Played the music halls and bars, had fancy clothes, big fine cars, things a country boy can't use. Dixieland is sure miss you. Got these Highway 40 blues.
You got to do the ending. Right?
Well, howdy, neighbor. How are you doing, Mr. Johnson? Good to see you here. We've been up here 30 minutes.
Yeah,
We've been playing
yeah.
together 30 minutes.
Yeah.
At least that.
What's his name? I know him. You know,
I want you to meet my best friend. How do you spell your first name?
it's Fred Wickerbill. Fred Wickerbill. From the
Yeah.
Wickerbills of England, you know.
Okay. Sure. Well, you betcha.
Boy, listen, they were getting flowers now.
They won't be here real quick. We'll take care of that. Yeah, sit it right on that mixer there. That'll.
I just fixed that.
Are you going to get a lot of good songs from Ken? And I'm from Montana, so if you hear a lot of kind of westerny songs, that's what you're going to get. So
Like
and,
this one.
and we call it Horse Crap and Gunsmoke. So let's see. Here's one called. This is a real happy song. It's called "The Highway of Sorrow." Well, the highway of sorrow, I'm traveling alone. Lost all my true friends, and I've lost a happy home. Headed for destruction, and I'm on the wrong track. Down the highway of sorrow, no turning back. Well, I once had a true love, she was kind, true, and sweet. Life was so bright and gay, well, everything complete. Then I met another who had lived my life straight. I'm living sorrow to my dying day. Down the highway of sorrow, I'm traveling alone. Lost all my true friends, and I've lost a happy home. Headed for destruction, and I'm on the wrong track. Down the highway of sorrow, no turning back. Pick it. Well, I went back to my true love, and I got down on my knee. Begged her with tearing eyes to give my poor heart ease. She was hurt so deeply, Lord, she could not forget. Now I live in sorrow for as long as I live. Down the highway of sorrow I'm traveling alone. Lost all my true friends and I've lost a happy home. I'm headed for destruction and I'm on the wrong track. Down the highway of sorrow, no turning back. Picket. Down the highway of sorrow, I'm traveling alone. I lost all my true friends and I've lost a happy home. I'm headed for destruction and I'm on the wrong track. Down the highway of sorrow, there's no turning back. Down the highway of sorrow, there's no turning back. The sound of one hand playing again.
Not bad, huh? Well, it should be. I've been playing guitar now for 15 years. I got the music in me coming out my ears. Well, you ought to know the fact is I'm this good because I practice. Although it ain't as good as it appears, still I see you getting all warm and running from my guitar and the way my fingers burn. Well, I hate to disillusion you, honey. It's just licks off the records that I've learned. It don't mean I'm good in bed, although I ain't had no complaints. You can't tell just from my guitar what I am and what I ain't. I'll imitate a train or chicken. I'll do any style of picking. But I'll just be glad that my 2 nights here are through. Still, I see you getting all warm and running from my guitar and the way my fingers burn. Well, I hate to disillusion you, honey. It's just licks off the records. Licks off the records. Licks off the records that I've learned. That's what we do. We just learn licks. Thank you. Martin Mull. Remember him? Martin Mull. He used to do a funny make-believe talk show. It's called Fernwood Tonight. And he put out an album called My Living Room Furniture. And it had great songs on it like Let's Go Bowling, Let's Be Normal, and Licks Off the Records. I played with a group called the Disgusto Brothers years ago. And that was one of our favorite songs because nobody had ever heard it. What you got, Gary?
We're gonna go back to Montana again, I guess. So this is
Empty
one
bottle?
where, yeah, the empty bottle of broken heart, and you're still in my mind. This is a love song. The jukebox is playing that honky tonk song, and I sit here crying over what you have done. What good will it do me? I know what I'll find. An empty bottle, a broken heart. You're still on my mind. I'm so blue I could die, but I sit here drinking till the bottle runs dry. Morning, see, I know what I'll find. An empty bottle, a broken heart. You're still on my mind. That jukebox is still playing that old honky-tonk song, and I sit here crying over what you have done. What good will it do me? I know what I'll find. An empty bottle, a broken heart. You're still on my mind. An empty bottle, a broken heart. You're still on my mind. The second verse on that thing. I forgot the second verse on that song.
That's all right.
Yeah, well, whatever, you know.
Yeah, it's all right. Let me grab the mandolin. We'll do some fiddle tunes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's see. You gotta. Okay. All right. Okay. It's gonna take me an hour to tune it. It's got 8 strings on it. I mean, it's too many. I know. I love playing bass. You got 4 strings and they're big. Yeah.
Okay.
Put the pressure on him. Geez, I better get it up to the right key here.
Been a while. $10 for anybody that can name all three of those songs. Come on, it's easy money. Yeah, right. My grandfather used to do that. My grandfather was by weekend chores. My maternal grandfather was a fiddle maker and a violin repairman, and he'd get his friends to come by from all over western Pennsylvania. It's where I live, northwestern part, and they'd have a jam session in his shop. He didn't get much work done, but he sure had a lot of friends. And it's a good thing he had a good daytime job, or he'd been broke. But he sure played a lot of great music. And I was 8 years old, hanging around in his shop, and I couldn't keep my hands off of things. And first time I picked up one of his carving knives, his eyes got about the size of a silver dollar. And he said, "Oh, well, now, if you're going to play with my knives, I'm going to show you how to use one." So he grabbed this knife and he sharpened it up really good. And he put a block of maple in my hand. And then he handed me a violin head, just the scroll where the pegs go, handed me that scroll. And he said, "Make this. You just take away all the wood until you get this." Well, I sat there scratching myself and wondering, no, wait a minute. How do you take off all the wood? Well, I learned, one of the first things I learned was my grandpa really knew how to sharpen a knife. And so first thing he says is, "In the outhouse, there's some Band-Aids." So I learned where they were, and I knew where the outhouse was. I think Gary and I didn't rehearse it, but I'm going to do another fiddle tune that my grandpa used to do. In fact, I learned it from him. It goes back many years. And back in those days, he had me playing there never was a bass player. So he took a cello one day and he tuned it like a bass and he handed it to me. And he said, "The left hand goes here and the right hand just goes boom, bunka, boom, bunka, boom." That was my bass lesson. And I learned to play. This was my first song. And we'd like to play it for you right now.
What key? D?
G.
G, okay. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just here for the coffee and donuts. Yeah.
The song was called Red Wing. We'll do that for you. Thank you. Used to be a singer, a folk singer, songwriter that came to the Pacific Northwest a lot. In fact, he got a contract with Bonneville Damps as a singer-songwriter, which I thought was a pretty interesting story. They'd hire concrete people and fabricators doing welding and stuff. But Woody Guthrie, he was a man with he either did two things. He either made signs for a living, that was his craft, or he borrowed lyrics and melodies from other people's songs, and he wrote songs with them. And he wrote a song that Pete Seeger recorded with that same melody called the Union Song. Any radical hippies in here? Where'd we all go? Oh, we grew up and had families. That's what it was. I see. But Gary, you got a song for us?
I don't know. Let's do Muddy Waters.
Okay.
This is a bluey grass song, I guess. You have to wait for him all the time.
This is Gary Schottel.
Thank you.
We've been friends for a long time, and Gary used to come hang out in my repair shop, and I got him hooked on building guitars. In fact, the guitar he's playing was one that he built. He's built, what, 8 or 9 now? Something like that?
No, more like about
5 or 6?
no, 13 or 14.
Really?
I got
13 or
2 of them
14?
in the chute right now anyway, and some mandolins and a banjo and what
Yeah.
else? Anyway, but
So we consider him a luthier.
no, I'm a Methodist. Or what
It's the same sin,
It's the
I'll
same
tell
thing,
you.
Yeah. And this is an upbeat song about a guy in prison, right? Well, wash my hands, muddy water. Wash my hands, but they wouldn't come clean. I tried to do what my daddy told me, but I must have washed my hands in a muddy stream. I was born in Macon, Georgia. I had my daddy in a Macon jail. He said, son, if you keep your hands clean, you can keep them bloodhounds off your trail. But I fell in with bad companions. We robbed a man down to Tennessee. That sheriff caught me outside of Nashville, and they locked me up and they threw away the key. But
Wash
my hands in muddy water, wash my hands, but they wouldn't come clean. I tried to do what my daddy told me, but I must have washed my hands in a muddy stream.
Go ahead.
Pick it, Ken. I asked that jailer, when's my time up? He said, son, we won't forget. And if you can keep your hands clean, we might make a good man of you yet. But I washed my hands in muddy water, washed my hands, but they wouldn't come clean. I tried to do what my daddy told me, but I must have washed my hands in a muddy stream. I couldn't wait to do my time. I broke out of that Nashville jail. Well, I just crossed that much of Georgia, and I can hear them bloodhounds on my trail. Wash my hands
In
muddy water, wash my hands, but they wouldn't come clean. I tried to do what my daddy told me, but I must have washed my hands in a muddy stream. I tried to do what my daddy told me, but I must have washed my hands in a muddy stream. An uplifting song.
So let's find out who's the furthest from here. Where do you live? You're just in Albany? Well, so far you're the furthest one. Philomath. Yeah, my gosh. Philomath. That's a good drive. Anybody else? Anybody from Salem here? No? Lions? Huh. You're pretty close to home, aren't you? Yeah. I want to thank Woody and Jay for inviting us to come out and play. Thank you. Scott's going to get up here and do some music here in a little bit. We're looking forward to that. You got some new songs today, Scott? You always do. Aha. So merchandising could be going on here. Let's tune up for just a second.
My attitude.
Let me hear an A. A. That'll work.
I mean, you should only have to tune these things about once a year. Or
The
something. And he messes with them all the time. I know. Yeah, you know, it's.
There's a song I love doing because, well, there are a lot of songs I love doing, but they have to have a story for me in order to catch my attention. I can remember melodies well, I can remember chords pretty well, but if it doesn't have a good story to it, it doesn't catch my attention. And I had a music repair shop at a retail store for many years, starting out in Coos Bay, and then I moved to Salem, had it over there for a few years, and then Staten. And years ago, when I was in Staten, I was up above the Court Street Dairy Lunch. And it was kind of a difficult place. If you didn't know it was there, you'd walk right by it and didn't know it was a repair shop and a music store, mostly acoustic instruments. And this fella came in one day and he'd heard that I had a lot of non-electric arch-top guitars, kind of like Chet Atkins style guitars. They didn't have the sound hole, they had the F-holes on them. And I did. I had a good collection of them. And he said, well, I hear you have a good collection of arch-top guitars. And he said, I'm on the road and I haven't played a guitar for a while. Would you let me play one of your guitars? And I said, well, of course I would. And he walked over and grabbed the most expensive one off the wall. And I walked over to him and I said, let me see that guitar for just a second. And he handed me the guitar and I said, I'd like you to go down the hall there and go into the bathroom, wash your hands. They were pretty dirty. And he did, no objection whatsoever. And he come back out and he apologized. He said, well, I'm hobo. I live on the streets and I don't get a chance to play guitar. You can't have one when you're homeless, you know. I said, yeah, I know. He said, and I really apologize for not washing my hands. He said, it's very disrespectful. I said, no problem. Go help. help yourself. You need a pick. There's some on the counter. Just help yourself. And he did. And he sat there for a couple of hours and played until his fingers were sore. And played some great stuff. And when he finished up, I said, tell me a little bit about yourself. He said, well, I've been living on the street for 7 years. He said, I retired from the Marine Corps, and I just didn't want anything to do with straight society. He said, I had a retirement check coming, and I just wanted to live on the street. He said, well, that's what I've been doing. And so when I go into towns like Salem and I find out that they got a really good acoustic shop, he said, I go try out their acoustic guitars. And I said, well, anytime you're in town, you're more than welcome to come here. And he did. He'd be gone 6 or 7 months, and then he'd show up and he'd come in. He goes, if I wash my hands, can I play your guitars? Well, of course you can. So I guess we had him trained pretty good. One day he came in with a military duffel bag, and in that duffel bag was a 1946 Epiphone Emperor archtop guitar. They're extremely coveted, and this one was in really, really bad shape. He'd been carrying it around with him, and he was afraid it was going to get stolen. And when he came into town, he stayed at the mission, and somebody did try to steal it from him just before he brought the guitar to me. So he said, I know it's in bad shape, but I know that this is the right place for it. He said, fix it up, sell it, and do somebody a favor with the money. I said, well, that's a pretty good deal. So we did. I trained people to do repair work, and I'd done that for 30 years. So that became our project for all the guys and the gals in the shop that worked there. Everybody worked on it, and it took 4 years. And we finally got it put back together again, and it was a sweetie, and I really didn't want to give it up. But I did. In fact, I put it up. I did a raffle with it. A friend of mine who is a traveling musician, his van burned up, and he really didn't have the money to replace it. So I thought, here's a great opportunity to sell that guitar and help somebody. So we did. We did raffle tickets on it and handed my friend almost $10,000, more than what the guitar was worth, but it didn't matter. The fact was that we lived up to our end of it. So this song that I'm going to do for you was written by John Sebastian. Remember John Sebastian? Yeah. Yeah, that's right, The Lovin' Spoonful. And he wrote this song, and he put it on his album called Tarzana in 1974. Classic album. And it's become my signature favorite song for if guitars could talk, what kind of stories would they tell? If you're on the road, tracking down your every night, singing for a living beneath the brightly colored lights, and if you ever wonder why you ride the carousel, you do it for the stories you could tell. And oh, the stories we could tell. And if it all blows up and goes to hell, I wish that we could sit back on a bed in some motel and listen to the stories we could tell. Remember that guitar in a museum in Tennessee. The nameplate on the glass brings back 20 melodies. The scratches on the top told of all the times he fell, singing all the stories we could tell. And all the stories it could tell, I'll bet you it still rings a bell. I wish that we could sit back on the bed in some hotel and listen to the stories we could tell. So if you're on the road, tracking down your every night, singing for a living beneath the brightly colored lights, and if you ever wonder why you ride the carousel, you do it for the stories you could tell. And all the stories we could tell, I'll bet you it still rings like a bell. I wish that we could sit back on a bed in some hotel and listen to the stories you could tell. Thank you. Well, Scott, it's about time for you to get up here. Pretty quick. Well, we started long before you got here. If you want to pay us extra, Scott, we'll stick around for a bit and do some of your songs. I want to thank Jay and Woody. I remember this young man sitting out here with a saxophone. What a great horn player he is. You going to get up and play sometime today? Have you checked with Woody and to see what the schedule is? I want to thank my partner, Gary Schottel. And I want to thank you folks for coming out on this beautiful day and taking in the music and the beautiful atmosphere we've got here. Jay and Woody, thank you so much. And thank you, folks.
Yep. Very nice. Very nice.
You're welcome.